Hello y'all and welcome back to my channel. And today we have a review that I honestly didn't know if I was gonna do, because if any of y'all have been with me for an extended period of time, y'all would know that I've had some pretty dramatic misses in the eyeshadow department with this particular brand, and that would be Natasha Denona, and today we are looking at the Sunrise palette. Now, she's come out with palettes since my not so good palette roast. We'll leave that link down below. But she has released other palettes that I have been like, no, we're not gonna do. But part of my reasoning for wanting to review this palette is, number one, some of y'all have said you wanted me to review it, and number two is this palette is $65, which is definitely more expensive than most high-end palettes. It's a lot of money, but that being said, I have purchased Huda Beauty and other palettes that are kind of in that same price range, so I felt a little bit better talking about this one and potentially recommending it than one that's $129. And plus, the color scheme is very beautiful on this. This is what I am wearing on my sunset peepers today. I started off with Citrine, then went into Carnelian, then Glory, then Clove. Glory is what's on my lower lash line, and then I used Laurel on this part of my lid, and Agate, I think, maybe, is what I have on my inner corner. Now, I do not believe this is a limited edition, which is also really blinking nice. This is essentially half the size of her regular palettes, which I'm honestly more okay with, because I feel like when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, unless you're using one 110% consistently, you're not going to go out of it. So, you know, you don't need to be just giving us like this big old giant whatever of eyeshadow. I feel like this size is a pretty ding-dang good size. You are getting 15 shadows for a total net weight of 19.25 grams. As stated before, it is $65, but let's just get into swatching this, and then we'll discuss whether I think I have finally found a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette that is worth the exorbitant price tag. Got y'all in just a little bit closer. Alright, how are we gonna do this? We're gonna do it like this, maybe? Yeah, sure. Alright, gotta start off with Clove here, and I will say, her mattes feel beautiful. They just kind of have that, like, not buttery, but that almost like dimethicone. Is that that's a word, but is it the word I'm looking for? I don't know. They don't feel like a powder when you're dipping your finger all up in there. Then we have Aster right here, which is this really pretty purple. This is kind of giving me, I feel, a little bit of Huda Beauty Desert Sunset Desert Dusk palette something. And then Poppy right here. Let me show y'all. That one, and then that one, and then that one, which is pretty much a spot-on dupe for that exact same color in the Huda Beauty new nude palette. Next row, which is honestly probably my favorite row going on here, Carnelian, Glory, and then Citrine. They aren't very powdery, which is really nice. Here we have them going on right there. I will say though that some of the mattes do tend to look a little bit darker on the skin than they do in the pan. I don't know if you can tell or if I am just have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, but when I was using them I just felt like they kind of did a little bit of like not total oxidization, but they just kind of ended up being a teensy bit darker than they do appear just in the palette. Then Jasper, Azalea, and Phlox, which honestly, like, if you look at these two, let me see here, we've got this one and this one. I guess on camera they look a lot different. This one is more red and this is like more purpley pink, but they're pretty stinking similar. Here we have them right here. Whoop and whoop. see that one and that one. There's just kind of a little bit difference in like that whole undertone thing going on. But they be heckin' pigmented though. They're heckin' pigmented. And down here we have Morning and Morgan. Now I do appreciate the fact that we have these two kind of like lighter shades, but they're not like, oh, a total cream setting of the lid shade. Because y'all know how I feel about that. Y'all know how I feel about that. But they're just like, they're lighter, but they do have pigmentation and color to them. So it doesn't feel like you're putting nothing on your lid. And then Awakening right here. So pretty. We have it right there. Whoop. And then right there. And last but not least, Day Spring here. Agate, I have no idea. And Laurel here. And we'll do these. Here we go. We'll just do right there, and then right there, and then right there. So here we have the spectrum of colors going on here. This is giving me very much Huda Beauty Desert Dusk vibes going on. But all in all, a very beautiful color story. Alright, let's talk about the palette on a whole. Obviously, the price point is a bit high. I actually feel like the price point of palettes is just kind of steadily getting higher, and just honestly probably just the price of makeup on a whole is getting higher. But very obviously also $65 in comparison to like, you know, $129, or say even the $45 for those like little 5 pans, you know, price-wise in comparison to all of her other available eyeshadow palettes. This one is the least offensive. I am mostly okay with the shimmer to matte ratio. We're leaning one more shimmer than matte, but that's okay. That's okay. I can take that. And on a whole, I honestly feel like this is a really nice palette. If you are in the market for something that is maybe a little more high end, or you know, you spent money on Huda Beauty and thus and such before, I would definitely recommend this. The mattes are beautifully pigmented. They blend really well. I would definitely say they have a better blend than Urban Decay, than Too Faced. They're definitely on par with Anastasia Beverly Hills, on par with Huda Beauty, on par with, you know, Colored Rain, on par with ColourPop. So I have absolutely no complaints there. I think the shimmers, this shimmer formula is a hue and a cry from that shimmer formula I tried in that like Tropic palette, which they were like so hard pressed you couldn't get nothing. These are absolutely beautiful. I love the fact that this shade Phlox and Poppy, they're so pigmented that I can just take them like all over here and then do a little something something on the lower lash line, and I am good to go. I just think this is a really, really beautiful palette. And if it's something that you've had your eye on, or you've been wanting to, you know, dip your toes into that Natasha Denona, I think this is just beautiful. It's got a great cohesive color story. You do have a nice matte to shimmer ratio, a little more favoring shimmer, but that's just personal preference. But all in all, I can't be mad at this palette, because I really enjoyed how the eyeshadows blended, how the shimmers looked. I mean, I used the shimmers today without using any kind of wetting of my brush, or any kind of tacky primer, or any kind of concealer. They just went on as they are. Is it still a pricey palette? Yes, absolutely. But if you've been purchasing Huda or Jeffree Star or anything like that, and you've been, you know, eyeing this or interested in this, I can't say anything bad about the quality. I think the color story is beautiful, like I've said 1,000 times. The packaging is nice and sturdy. It does look like you can, it's got these holes back here that you can depot these and put them into something else, though I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. I am not a depotter by any means. If I'm paying $65 for something, part of that $65 is the packaging. So I'm like, why am I removing the shadows from the packaging? But all in all, I can't say anything bad about this. I am honestly very pleasantly surprised and happy that I've actually found a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette that works for me, and this is something I would recommend to any of y'all who, you know, have been kind of holding off on the $129 jobs, the $239 jobs, and the $45 5-pan eyeshadow. I think this is a good one to invest in, especially if you've already, you know, purchased more higher expensive ones, and because this price point is the same as some other palettes that I've purchased, I don't feel as bad saying, yeah, I think this is good. Definitely check it out if you've been interested. That honestly makes me happy because, you know, your girl has had some choice experiences with Miss Natasha Denona in the past. But we are moving forward, moving on, and I've actually found one that works well for me, that makes me so happy. Definitely let me know down below what y'all's experiences have been with this palette. If you have it, you don't, you hate it, you love it, you think it's overpriced, which, I mean, makeup is overpriced on a whole. Definitely let me know what your opinions are on this product. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!